If you're looking to create, grow, and sustain your wealth, download and subscribe to the Pain Points of Wealth podcast at BeBullish.com with Bob, Ryan, and Chris Payne. It's your podcast for market insights, money tips, and real talk on the economy.
Download and subscribe
at BeBullish.com.
This episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. Psst, healthcare pros, word's out, and it's too good to keep quiet. Look, LinkedIn is revolutionizing job hunting, making it possible to search by specialty, shift preference, and salary. Endless scrolling is out. Whether it's a mental health therapist or dental hygienist, finding the perfect role is faster and easier than ever. Head to linkedin.com/healthcare and start your search today.
The Rita Cosby Show
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Well, it is less than 2 weeks from Election Day, and the big New York City mayoral debate has just wrapped up. Of course, on Election Day, there will also be a vote for governor of Virginia and also governor of New Jersey. So there's a lot at stake, guys. Get out and vote. And in the New York City mayor's race, this is one for the record books. This is why the whole country is watching this, because tonight, Zohran Mamdani tried to explain why maybe you don't need to send a police officer out. You can just send a social worker on a mental distress call. Anybody who is in law enforcement, and many of you listen to the Rita Cosby Show, know that is dangerous and often deadly. You send them to a mental distress call, things get bad quickly, and then suddenly you have a mental health expert there, a social worker there, as opposed to a police officer. That's his fancy schmancy way to say, let's limit the police, what they can do. You can tell already this guy is going to let protesters roam in New York. He's going to let Black Lives Matter protests, some of these pro-Hamas protests. My feeling, he's going to let them destroy New York. He'll be leading the charge on them. And tonight, it is more affirmed than ever. First off, here he is. Here's Zohran Mamdani in the New York City mayoral debate. It just wrapped up. Here he is talking about sending mental health experts versus police.
What my opponents are clinging to is the past, because that's all that they know. What I am proposing is something that will address the needs of New Yorkers in the present. We speak and hear from New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs who outline how the mental health crisis is one of the major challenges in this city. And yet what we have in our city is asking those same police officers who are being asked to respond to shootings, respond to murders, to also respond to these calls. I trust the dispatchers who would be receiving these calls to make the determination as to whether there was any indication of violence. If there is no indication of a threat of violence, then we would set the mental health experts and providers to respond to those same incidents. The reason I believe in the efficacy of this approach is because of the fact that it has been delivered elsewhere in the country. So no matter how often you hear those on this stage tell you that something cannot be done, know that there are others in this same country who have seen it, and it is time for that same policy to come to New York City.
Unbelievable. He's going to let a dispatcher decide whether to send a police officer or not. And many of you were listening to us earlier tonight on WABC. We had Bill O'Reilly on, and Bill O'Reilly's assessment is if you have a 911 call under Zohran Mamdani, the police may not be coming because, first of all, there are not going to be a lot of police in New York. They are going to flee like many other residents, because who wants to live in a Zohran Mamdani New York? And then also, there will be social workers sent out. There'll be a dispatcher who's going to decide, oh, this one I'm going to send a cop to, and this one, maybe at some point we send somebody or don't send anybody at all. I don't think that's the kind of America you want to live in. And think about how dangerous that is for the average citizen. And think about if Zohran Mamdani starts what many believe as a national trend. That's why everybody is troubled. If you want to stop socialism, you want to stop somebody who is anti-Semitic, here is the opportunity to do it, because it's going to spread like cancer across this country. Also, if you look at the background of this guy, he just turned 34 a few days ago. He's an unaccomplished New York City councilman in Queens, which is where the debate took place tonight. Doesn't have really anything on his record. His attendance record, I think, was 80. He was gone 80% of the time. when he was in as a Queens councilman. That's what he's doing now, an assemblyman there. No background, no skill. He was a rapper. So he's ready to now lead New York City with a $116 billion budget and 300,000 employees. Are you kidding me? So here's Andrew Cuomo, who, of course, was on the debate stage. I thought he won the debate. I thought he had a lot of energy, and I thought he was really coming at Zohran Mamdani, which is the key. So listen to what Cuomo had to say about Mamdani's lackluster background.
The homeless issue, number of homeless since I left, has more than doubled during his administration and the state's administration. Since I left, homeless rate has more than doubled. When I left, the vacancy rate on housing was 4.5%. It's now 1%. This man never even proposed a bill on housing or education. Never even proposed a bill.
Let's keep going back and forth between the two of you. Mr. Sliwa, it's your turn.
Andrew, you didn't leave. You fled from being impeached by the Democrats in the state legislature. Leave. You fled. But let's get back on topic.
And here is a little bit more. This is from Curtis Sliwa. Curtis had a good singer going after both of them. Listen to this.
Yeah, I heard the both of them again fighting like kids in the schoolyard. Zohran, your resume could fit on a cocktail napkin. And Andrew, your failures could fill a public school library in New York City. Okay. Go ahead, Katie.
We're going to move now to public safety.
Yeah, that was a good line. It definitely was. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. Let's go to LQ in the Bronx. Go ahead, LQ, on line 4. Your thoughts?
Bless you. Long time, Rita.
Oh, you too, LQ. I was hoping it was you. How are you, my old friend? I haven't heard you call into the show in a while. We miss you. All of us miss you.
I miss you too, but I'm listening to all the time, especially Norm. But the black church is in between a rock and a hard place because they supported Cuomo in the primary. So for them to come right out and so forth, it's like mixed up.
But they came for him in the primary. Maybe that means they'll come back to him again because,
right.
That's a good sign. He needs to go back to them, was Bill O'Reilly's point, because this new poll, LQ, was interesting, where it shows sort of where some of the support is. Jewish Catholics supporting Cuomo, Asian atheist, foreign-born, overwhelmingly the foreign-born supporting Zohran Mamdani. But it doesn't say anything about African Americans. Where do you think they break in the election come election day now, right around the corner?
I think Curtis has to drop out, and then they will come out strong. But he needs everything. He needs black, all kinds of churches, all Asian, whatever you need. He needs everything he can get because. Curtis has to drop out. I agree with Norm with that.
And you know what? And I have said, LQ, it's a hard thing. I don't like to tell anybody to drop out or not. But if you look at the poll numbers, clearly the only way to beat Mandani is in a two-person race. And every poll that everyone has seen has, Mandani handily ahead. But in a two-person race, Cuomo is the only one, at least in the polls are showing, that is in striking distance. And there are a lot of people out there that say Cuomo is flawed, and he definitely has issues. There's no question about it. The question is, do you want Mandani? This is not a normal election. That's what I say to people. This is not a normal election. And you just have to think, what's the best way not to have Mandani as mayor? And whatever that path is, that's the path that needs to be taken. And a lot of it's going to come out to attendance, voting attendance. Do you think anything changed the dial in this race tonight for Cuomo, for Mandani, for Curtis? What do you think, LQ?
I think Cuomo did good, but he's going to have to hit it hard. I mean, hit it hard going to every place and really, a lot more and just say what he said is possible. But he needs everything. He needs everything.
And he needs that fire that we saw tonight, don't you think? Because he had a lot of good fire tonight. He was in the fight tonight. I think it was the best Cuomo we have seen. And he needs to have that on the campaign trail every moment because this guy, Mandani, is slick. He is a slick guy. But I saw him sweating tonight, LQ. That was interesting.
Yes, I'm praying he wins. Praying.
You're praying who? That Cuomo wins?
That Cuomo wins.
Yeah, I pray Mandani does not get in. I am telling you, if Mandani gets in, New York will never be the same. That is I've never felt that way. This guy, to me, is telegraphing who he is. He's not even hiding it. It's going to be a lot worse than we can ever imagine. So I pray that when you get to the voting booth, everybody gets their mother, their brother, their sister, their relative, everybody gets out and vote. You can't be lackadaisical. New York is on the line. LQ, thank you very, very much. Let's go to Stan in Forest Hills on line 2. Go ahead, Stan.
Can you hear me?
I hear you great, my friend. Go ahead.
I am not a happy camper tonight at all.
All right. Why?
First of all, it was in my alma mater. That's the first thing. I went there 50 years ago, and 50 years later, this went on.
By the way, clapping. By the way, Stan, because I'll give you a few minutes here.
Yeah,
Quick
sure.
question. In the audience, and it was at LaGuardia Community College.
That's my alma mater.
Oh,
yeah.
Stan. When he was saying something, they were like clapping like guppies in the audience from Mandani.
You have to understand that they have 35 to 40,000. When I went, there was like 200 there, but it's 40,000, majority Hispanic, Black, Asian, Muslim as well. So I wasn't surprised. I don't know why they had this there, but that's where they had it.
Yeah,
Nobody
to me,
objected.
I agree. It should have been more neutral territory.
I don't understand. But anyway, let's get to it. He was good, Cuomo, tonight, but I don't think enough. I'm sorry. He hit him a couple of times.
By the way, I agree. I think. I don't. Did you hear Bill O'Reilly earlier tonight?
I didn't listen to him.
All right, Bill. Here's Bill's assessment, and I think it's sort of spot on. He said that he believes Cuomo narrowed the gap tonight. That he definitely got a bump of a few points. He thinks that he definitely narrowed the gap. His advice to Curtis. This is Bill O'Reilly talking, saying, basically get out and put on the beret. And his advice, his feeling is it needs to be a Cuomo-Mandani race,
Rita,
and Cuomo needs to get out like there is
Rita,
no tomorrow.
He's not going to get out, Rita. I told you this. He hates Cuomo more than he hates Mandani.
Who are you talking about? You're talking about Curtis.
It's been a 40-year hatred, and he's not over it, and he won't be. And the other reason, which I didn't think about, but maybe you can tell me, he's the candidate. He gets money from the city, correct? For he got money.
Correct. You get 8-to-1 matching funds.
Okay, so he's got the money. Now, if he drops out, doesn't he have to give the money back?
He could still use the funds that have been given to him in the race. Now, here's one of the things.
That's why he won't drop out, because he wants the money.
No, you're not hearing me.
All right, go ahead.
And actually, this is a good question for somebody who's sort of an elections lawyer.
Well, I figured you might know.
But no. But I believe that he could use the funds because there does have a lot of money in his campaign if it is still towards something else in the campaign. I have to get a correction I don't want to misspeak.
If he dropped out, he would lose the money, correct?
Right,
He'd have to give it back.
Right, but here's the point.
He's
still on, but he's also still on the ballot. They're all still on the ballot.
That, but if he totally leaves, he's got to give the money back. And I think he wants the money for a future situation. He's not going to get it. He's the joker. It's not going to happen. You're right. The governor will get maybe a 3-4 point bounce. I agree, but it may just not be enough. The other thing is,
but if somebody else doesn't drop out, if Curtis,
I agree with you, Rita, then he's not going to.
If he doesn't, then there's no way for anybody to beat Mandani. Can I just ask you? Don't you agree with that? There is no way for someone to beat Mandani after tonight.
You're right.
There is no way, and that saddens me. I'm just saying
it
is where it is.
I agree with you. Here's my question. And we're talking about the black vote. Has Al Sharpton or Hakeem Jeffries come out at all? Or the mayor hasn't come out. When are they going to come out?
Well, let me give you a first on Al Sharpton. I know he's interviewed, Mandani. He seems to be palsy-walsy with him. Hakeem Jeffries has said that he's still talking to Mandani and trying to decide. There's rumors that he may come out soon because if he wins, he wants to look like he endorsed him, even if it was in the 11th hour. So those are who else were you asking about there, Stan? Who was the other one?
Adams, the mayor.
Adams has not, but then there was a picture that Cuomo put up of him and Adams sort of sitting courtside. It looks like Adams is going to be endorsing Cuomo. So see, your point about the dropping out. See, my point is that, even Adams dropping out, it definitely did help Cuomo. He got a bump. What needs to happen, though, is if, say, Curtis were to drop out, right? If he were to drop out, you can't just drop out because your name's going to be on the ballot. You can't take the name off the ballot. Eric Adams' name is going to be on the ballot. So there needs to be a full embrace of if there's going to be a coalition. I'm just saying if, and I don't see it at this point with Curtis dropping out. I don't see him doing that. But if he were to drop out, he has to do a full embrace of Cuomo. And so does Adams needs to do a full embrace of Cuomo. I don't think that's a problem for Adams because Adams wants to beat Mandani and he's worried about New York City. And I think, but they need to come together in like a press conference and spend some of the money that they have, as you've talked about in their campaigns, towards educating voters. Hey, by the way, don't vote for me. There needs to be a full public service campaign because you can't just say I'm dropping out. People are still going to vote for you on the ballot. You need to dissuade people from voting for you, and you need to educate them that we're all together in the anti-Mamdani coalition, and the only way to beat Mandani, we're all together for the good of the city, and we're telling you not to vote for us, vote for blank. That's the only way it's going to work. Because if you just drop out and don't do anything else, it doesn't make a difference. Obviously, you got to drop out to even have a chance to beat Mandani. But if you don't do a full embrace, nothing's going to happen. And that means for all the candidates that are dropping out. That's what I'm talking about. Stan, it is complex, but let's see what happens between now and Election Day. We'll continue calls, guys, after the break.
The Rita Cosby Show
on the Red Apple Podcast Network. If you're looking to create, grow, and sustain your wealth, download and subscribe to the Pain Points of Wealth podcast at BeBullish.com with Bob, Ryan, and Chris Payne. It's your podcast for market insights, money tips, and real talk on the economy.
Download and subscribe
at BeBullish.com.
Breathe deep. Imagine your legs more limber in Duluth Trading Double Flex Denim. Envision euphorically squatting for that can of suds. Bending for your toolbox in a state of bliss. Lunging for your laser level on a whole new level. Relax and allow the flex to fill you with ability. Find your inner flex in Double Flex Denim only at Duluth Trading.
This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Carvana lets you buy your next car on your terms. Explore a massive inventory online, filter for what matters, and find your perfect match. Then choose delivery to your home or pick it up at one of Carvana's iconic car vending machines. Every car also comes with a 7-day money-back guarantee, so you can make sure it's the right fit. Buy your car on Carvana. Delivery or pickup fees may apply. Limitations and exclusions may apply. See our 7-day return policy at Carvana.com.
Carvana. You don't technically need this car. You say that out loud to yourself. You say, I have no space. You say, I'm just looking. Then you click. Then you zoom in on photo number 87 and whisper, oh no. Then you text a friend, the one who always enables you. You say to yourself, this is the last one, knowing it is not. You don't need this car. But maybe, just maybe, this car needs you. Bring a trailer. It's never just a car.
This is the Rita Cosby Show.
And let's go to your calls, guys. Let's go to Mike on the Lower East Side. Go ahead, Mike. Line 1.
I don't really. Yeah, there's two factors that the polls and everybody's dismissing. And that is, first of all, Curtis has many votes that are animal lovers, both on the Democratic side
and the Republican side.
No, that's true. That's a hotline. I agree. And what's the next one, Mike? I agree.
And the other one is there's a lot of people, including myself, and I'm a very forgiving guy. Okay, no matter what, you could punch me in the face, I'll forgive you the next minute.
A
lot of people are not going to forgive Cuomo for what he did to the seniors.
Well, that's why this is a complicated race. I agree.
The Rita Cosby Show
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. It's Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and LifeLock has tips to protect your identity. Use strong passwords, set up multi-factor authentication, report phishing, and update the software on your devices. And for comprehensive identity protection, let LifeLock alert you to suspicious uses of your personal information. LifeLock also fixes identity theft, guaranteed or your money back. Stay smart, safe, and protected with a 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
Rita Cosby is on.
Well, we are heading into the fast lane, that is for sure, because Election Day is November 4th. But early voting starts at the polls on Saturday. It is days away for the New York City mayor race. I just want to give some latest numbers. This is, of course, before tonight's debate. Quinnipiac University, Mandani, 46%. Cuomo, 33%, and Curtis Sliwa, 15% in that poll. And of course, the big question is, what will the new poll show in the next few days after this debate, the final one? And then it is up to the voters to decide. I also hope that people get out and vote. In the last election, it was 23% turnout of eligible voters coming out to vote. That's not a great number. And if you don't care about New York, this is the moment to wake up. This is totally the moment to wake up because there is so much on the line with this Zohran Mamdani. What did you think of everybody's performance tonight at the debate? Because the stakes could not be higher because this guy right now is handily in the lead. I think he lost a few points tonight. The question is it enough to change the dynamics in the race? And here is Zohran Mamdani. I want to play this cut number 1 again because this is shocking. Zohran Mamdani blatantly saying, I never called for global jihad, making it sound like he's a mayor of all people. This is the same guy who has continuously bashed Israel, global intifada, started the chapter of Students for Justice in Palestine while he was in college. He's all over the place, bashing Israel left and right, using global intifada and those kind of highly charged phrases, and yet he wants us to believe he's Mary Poppins. Take a listen.
I think there is room for disagreement on many positions and many policies, but I also want to correct the record. I have never, not once, spoken in support of global jihad. That is not something that I have said, and that continues to be ascribed to me, and frankly, I think much of it has to do with the fact that I am the first Muslim candidate to be on the precipice of winning this election. Now, all the same, Curtis, I do still want to be the mayor that will keep your sons safe, that will keep every single New Yorker safe. And it is my job to not only deliver on that commitment, but also to ensure that New Yorkers feel it every single day that they live in this city.
Are you going to feel safe with the Zohran Mamdani mayorship? No. However, that can be stopped at the voting booth. That is the key, guys, because it is crunch time. And if there was going to be any consolidation of votes or whatever, that should have happened weeks ago. But we are where we are, and this is clearly a clear and present danger. Now, here is a little bit. This was an interesting exchange. They talked about ICE going into different cities, and would you have the NYPD work with ICE? How do you feel about ICE? Here is Andrew Cuomo's reaction.
I've had a lot of dealings with President Trump. And there's only one way to deal with him. He puts his finger in your chest, and you have to put your finger right back in his chest. I've actually had this situation with ICE interfering in New York before. It was upstate New York where ICE just showed up and started to take action. And I called the president and I went down to the White House and I said, that doesn't work in New York. You don't send ICE in without coordinating with our police. It's not smart, it's duplicative, and it's dangerous. We don't need ICE to do quality of life crimes. We don't need them to worry about illegal vendors. That's a basic policing function for NYPD, Consumer Affairs, etc. I would have called the president and I would have said, look, you're way out of bounds, they're way out of bounds, call them back or I'm going to have the NYPD step in and stop them because this is not their jurisdiction. You're in the city of New York.
And by the way, we were talking earlier with Todd Lyons, who is the acting ICE director, who was saying that the folks who had been busted in New York, the quote street vendors, yeah, they were that. But he says that they all had criminal records. Some of them for like abuse, assault, forgery, robbery. So some pretty serious crimes on top of being in the country illegal. So maybe they weren't just innocent street vendors is what the Department of Homeland Security and ICE are saying. They're saying there's a lot more to the story than meets the eye. And here is Zohran Mamdani, who, of course, goes after ICE.
ICE is a reckless entity that cares little for the law and even less for the people that they're supposed to serve. What we need to be doing here in our city is to end the chapter of collaboration between City Hall and the federal government, which we've seen under Mayor Adams. What we need to do is actually pass the street vending reform bills that have been in the city council, some of which that this mayor has actually overridden. That's an example of how we can both protect street vendors, ensure quality of life, and leave no stone unturned in delivering for the people of this city, as opposed to working with a president who is looking to declare war on those same people.
And then here's Curtis Sliwa's response.
Unlike both of my adversaries, I patrolled that area many times, Church and Canal. And as you said, Errol, that activity has been going on for a long time. Selling the knockoff, sometimes stolen contraband by a series of people. The local 5th Precinct, they make arrests when they have obviously cause to do so, and they complain that they have to release them because of no cash bail, of which both of my adversaries are in favor of and I'm not. The feds should not have stepped into this situation. There is not communication between the local authorities and the feds. This is a matter that should have been left up to the NYPD. But we can't tolerate citizens attacking our federal law enforcement forces in the street because then that will just lead to anarchy.
So boy, oh boy, different layers to that for sure. You can hear. And all of them essentially saying, you know, NYPD should handle it. Zohran Mamdani doesn't even think there should be an NYPD out there. I think he's maybe wants to send a social worker out for that one as well. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. SOS. New York needs desperate help, guys. Let's go to Maria on the Upper West Side on line 1. Go ahead, Maria.
Hi, Rita. I watched the debate. I have to say right up from the beginning, I'm a Curtis fan. But I was with a group of young people, and we watched it online. The young people told me they don't even have TVs, so they wouldn't have even seen it on TV.
Then they didn't see Mandani dripping in sweat, but go ahead.
Yes. I mean, they watched online. And they were part of that group chat, the live chat that the Spectrum News had.
And what did they think, Maria? What did they think?
Well, they like Curtis. He's like a Marvel, hero comic. And but they're voting for Mamdani. So I have a lot of work cut out for me.
Wait. That's an interesting. They like Curtis. But they're voting for Mandani. But they just think Curtis's background is fun. I mean, that's interesting.
Yes, that's exactly right. They know of Curtis. Cuomo to them was like grandpa on stage. Now, I'm Cuomo's age, or around there anyway, so I didn't take kindly to that. but he was a snooze to them, and they like animated Mamdani.
Yes, like young, smile, all right, fresh, young, free. Did they like the free about Mandani, or what? Or what do they like about him?
I can tell you, the young people I'm referring to have great jobs. They make a lot of money, I'm going to try to tell them, well, good luck with that when he becomes mayor. But I think it was an age gap. I really do.
That's interesting.
That's what it was.
That's it. Yeah. But now, Curtis, I have to look at the ages, but I think he's around the same age as Cuomo. So I also find it interesting that they like Curtis, but they're voting for Mandani. That's an interesting combo. I just, they're so different. I wish, by the way, tonight Curtis went after Mandani a lot more. He clearly went after Cuomo and barely laid a glove on Mandani. What did they think of that? Did they feel like Curtis and Mandani were in allegiance almost?
I don't know about that, Rita, to be honest with you. I think they just like Curtis. He mentioned the animals, and they all have animals, I can tell you that. So that particular statement caught their attention. But also, they know the guy with the beret.
Right. Well, that's why. By the way, that's why I've even said he should be wearing the beret on the stage, because I think
so too.
I think it's I think it's more flattering on him, and I think people know him from the beret. So I think embrace that aspect. And it's interesting, and I think to your point too. I think the animal lovers. There are a lot of people who love animals. I'm a huge animal fan. And I think so many other people are too. And that is an interesting component here too, also, for that. Do they, very quickly, who do they think is going to win? Who do you think is going to win, Maria, after what you saw tonight? I'm talking the race.
I hope Curtis wins. We know that's a long shot. But I truly believe they think and already are betting on Mamdani. And, it's shocking to me, but I think they associate Cuomo with 5 years ago and COVID, and that was their time of growing up. They were, maybe early 20s back then, and, they were told you can't go out, you can't go to the restaurant without a vaccine, you're not going to work, you can't take the subway. I think that association with COVID is in their minds. I'm going to have to ask them if that's the case.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Thank you very much, Maria. We'll see. I hope they're wrong, but it's fascinating to hear just all the different layers. That's really, really interesting. Let's go to Sam in New Jersey, line 2. Go ahead, Sam.
How you doing?
Good. What do you think?
So I have a few thoughts. Cuomo won this debate. The reason why he won is because he went after Zohran, and he did it well.
I agree.
Now,
I agree. He was. I don't know if it's enough, but he did do it well.
He did it well. Now, Zohran is a child. He had no answers for any of the questions. He honestly had no answers. Now, Sliwa is very funny. I was laughing the entire debate from him.
Yeah, very funny. I agree.
He did not go after Zohran because he hates Cuomo for the past who knows how long.
But you know what, Sam? That's wrong. That's wrong. The city's at stake. You can't go after somebody because you don't like them.
Yes, I agree. Now, about the Jews, I am Jewish, okay? Jews will never vote for Zohran. I understand the Jewish community because I'm one of them.
So what is going to happen with this race, Sam? And did you buy, the fact that he said, and I keep playing this, I've never said global jihad. Like he wants, I'm a mayor for everybody. Nothing he has said. Do I believe either of those statements?
So I'm telling you, none of the people in the Jewish community believe him either. None of the Jewish people will ever vote for Mamdani. Now, at the end of the day, it's going to come down to turnout because, as you said, last election it came down to only what was it?
23%. Yes.
Yeah. Now Sliwa isn't winning. people are emotional about him, but facts don't really care about, your emotions. So on the chance that Sliwa will drop out and endorse Cuomo, which will never happen, maybe. Now, getting to the ICE thing, Cuomo said he's going to get the NYPD to stop ICE. Is he out of his mind?
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, that's what, by the way, that is more of a Zohran Mamdani comment. Zohran's the one who said he's going to block ICE tooth and nail. Cuomo sort of had it a little bit in the middle. Curtis sort of had it a little bit in the middle. It was interesting. I mean, Cuomo leaning, obviously, listen, definitely further left, than my liking on that topic, because you know how I feel about our men and women in blue. But I am happy at least that Cuomo's looking at adding 5,000 cops. I think Curtis wants to add 7,000. So I applaud them both for that. Whereas Zohran keeps dancing around the numbers and clearly is planning on defunding them. He said it over and over again. Real quick, where is this headed, Sam?
I have one question. Zohran, if you're listening, I have a question for you. You want to stop collaboration between the federal government and New York City, but you also want to defund the police? You can't do both of those.
Right. You know what he does? He wants a lawless city. And if you criticize him, you're racist because he's a Muslim. That's what he essentially said tonight. This guy is playing the race card. It has nothing to do with being Muslim or not. I have a lot of friends who are Muslim who are wonderful people, and they would never say the vile things that we have heard coming from this man, from Mandani. So, boy, this is Sam, I know you're in New Jersey. Every friend you have in New York's got to get out and vote. You got to do that. Will you promise me, Sam, you're going to call every friend you know in New York and tell them to get out and vote?
I will do that.
Bravo.
But I never in my life thought I would be calling people and telling them to vote for Cuomo.
Anybody but Mandani. That's my motto. That is my motto. Sam, thank you very, very much. And everybody, we're going to continue your calls after the break. 1-800-848-9222. And now, support our heroes.
The Rita Cosby Show presents Support Our Heroes.
And this is the Tunnel to Towers Foundation Support Our Heroes segment with a powerful story from Kenilworth, New Jersey, as the Retired Policemen and Firemen's Association meeting honored two local Vietnam veterans who were honored with official war veteran pins, recognizing their service and sacrifice during one of the most challenging conflicts, obviously, in American history. The Vietnam Veteran War Pin is primarily thank you and a way to honor our nation's Vietnam veterans and their families for their service and sacrifice. And, of course, a way to try to fix, obviously, so many of the errors and the way that many of the Vietnam veterans were poorly received 50 years ago. And it's beautiful to see them honored so beautifully now, and of course their families. And you know how much we love our veterans here on the Rita Cosby Show. To all of you and your families, welcome home. We love you and we appreciate you. And everybody, support America's military and first responder heroes. Donate $11 a month to the incredible Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Be sure to check them out at T2T.org, T2T.org.
The Rita Cosby Show
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It's the Rita Cosby Show.
So, can the race be changed? We just talked earlier about the New York City mayor's race and how Cuomo probably narrowed the gap, I believe, after tonight's debate, but still needs to do a lot more work between now and Election Day to get out the vote if he wants to beat Mandani. And then also you have Curtis Sliwa. When you have three people in the race, it is certainly splitting the anti-Mamdani vote. And tonight, Curtis Sliwa went after Cuomo and really didn't go after Mandani. By the way, the moderators didn't really go after Mandani at all either. They gave him a complete pass. Stan, who called earlier, said it's his alma mater, LaGuardia Community College there in Queens. Why was it in Queens when Mandani is the Queens Assemblyman? I mean, a lot of the people in the audience seemed like they were clapping like a group of lemmings. And the moderators didn't really ask a tough question of Mandani. That's not fair either. Come on. Are you kidding me? But still, at least Cuomo went after him and bashed him. And I think unsettled him. I think he rattled him. And maybe it's enough between that and some other things happening. It's a lot of ifs. If the vote consolidates and Curtis joins Cuomo and Eric Adams comes out and says he supports Cuomo, that might be enough to topple Mandani. If not, I think he has a path to victory. That's what's at stake, guys. That is what is at stake. And boy, is there a lot in this election time. Let's really quick go to Joel in Florida. Joel, you just have a few seconds. Your thoughts.
Yes. Hi, Rita. Good evening. I remember when Rudy Giuliani was in the same position and they told him, drop out. He didn't do it. And Curtis he's been shot. He's been stabbed. He's been taking all kind of abuse.
And by the way, Curtis has gone through a lot. The problem is, if you look at the polls, Joel, do we want a socialist? Do you want Mandani to run New York? You look at the numbers. That is scary as heck. And he's on the path now.
Thanks for listening to The Rita Cosby Show. You can hear The Rita Cosby Show weeknights at 10 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
If you're looking to create, grow, and sustain your wealth, download and subscribe to the Pain Points of Wealth podcast at BeBullish.com with Bob, Ryan, and Chris Payne. It's your podcast for market insights, money tips, and real talk on the economy.
Download and subscribe
at BeBullish.com.